Ephraim Smiley here, the urban farmer, and the the indoor growing season is winding down. We've got about I don't know 4 weeks. We got 4 to 5 weeks, and so I'm picking up steam here, and you know, starting to fertilize my plants a little bit. I'm diluting it's phosphorus and potassium that I'm feeding them, and I've diluted the formula so that I don't overstimulate the plants. But I recently planted some flowers, so we'll have sunflowers, 4 o'clocks, nasturtiums, zinnias, and a variety of sunflowers. We'll have a variety of sunflowers. So someone suggested that I have more flowers, and so that's what I said, okay, that sounds good. Let me get back to my flowers. And so we're going to make a concerted effort at the farm to beautify, more beautification. We're going to keep our grounds in better shape. So we're going to be doing a cleanup, and so we are going to represent the urban farmers in a excellent manner, hopefully, with the cleanup and with the crops that we are going to grow. But taking it from the top, the way that I did this, I number one, put some caulking in this big window. I had a south-facing window, so that was the first thing that was working for me. I caulked it up so it wouldn't leak any air and wouldn't make it cold in here like it's been in the years past. And then I covered it with a sheet of plastic. I covered the window with a sheet of plastic, and this has been my primary growing area. I do have a light in back of me, like a shop light, and I've used that. I'll put the tray up under that light, and I'm trying to force the leaves to come out when I do that. And if I can force the leaves I can, number one, control the growth of the plant, force the leaves to come out, and then develop a situation that looks a lot better than the squash here. You know, they're growing pretty tall and spindly, trying to reach the light in the window. So I'll keep reversing them so that they don't get so big. I still will be able to plant those, and I will. But the main thing is to keep your light down on the plants. When you put the seed in, you use a grow mix that you get from Menards or someplace like that, and then you dampen it, cover it with plastic, put the seeds in just slightly under the surface, and then cover it with plastic after you dampen it, and then in about 6, 7, 8 days, they'll start to show some activity and they'll start to germinate. That's when you take the plastic off, put them up under the light, and then let that light force those leaves out. Now, what I've done here, though, I've used the south-facing window to assist me in having the leaves develop, the true leaves. So it worked pretty good. I'm going to put a fan on them. I occasionally put the fan on, and that will shake them a little bit to give them a little tension. That makes the stem strong. And I've about accomplished my goal here. We've got tomatillos. We've got 8 or 9 different kinds of indeterminate tomatoes. Basically, that indeterminate tomato is a tomato that grows and continues to grow, never shuts down, and will grow until the frost hits it. We've got eggplant, we've got watermelon, we've got peppers, 3 or 4 different kinds of peppers. I started those peppers way back in February, a lot of them, because they're slow growing and I hadn't had real good success with them. So I've been able to grow some bell peppers, California bells, and California wonders, and I'm really kind of excited about the ability to do that. So I'm anticipating putting them in a cold frame or in the shade in a couple of weeks. Now next week it's around the 15th or 16th of April for this show. And next week it's supposed to warm up. We're supposed to get temperatures in the 50s in the daytime and going into the 40s at night. So I'm going to start shifting some of the plants outside and start hardening them off in 50-degree weather under plastic. I'll make some type of plastic covering for them. And so the true campaign is getting ready to start. The campaign of intensive growing and planting, and I've already decided that that I'm going to keep plants growing continuously in the containers at the garden itself. Once it gets warm, and I can grow starter plants in trays or in the ground itself. We'll grow our collards and we'll grow our cabbage and different things like that right there at the farm, so that we can transplant them into the garden this fall. So I'm already thinking about fall garden, and I haven't even got my spring garden in. But I plan to grow a lot of turnips and mustards, and we'll fertilize those real well to get those growing strong. So I'm really looking forward to this campaign this year. Because of the pandemic, we'll be feeding hundreds, thousands of people, and we've already planned to do this. We're getting our equipment ready, and we'll be ready. I've got some plans already laid out for what's going to grow where. I got a diagram. You know, when you're putting a garden in, you put yourself in a diagram. You look at the lay of the land. If it's in your backyard, you want to know how much sunlight you're getting, if there's any roots from the trees going to disturb you, all those kinds of things. Certainly cats or dogs, if you have pets, they're no for your garden. You don't want them in your garden, so you'll have to put a little fence up. But you want to look at the lay of the land, look how your garden's going to be in that backyard. You're going to need 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. If you got a lot of trees, it'll be difficult to grow a garden with a lot of trees in it. But that's how you got to think about it. A raised bed garden might be easier to maneuver to get going than one that's on the ground where you're actually tilling. So that's where your mindset is. But my son Chris and myself, we're going to give you tips all along the way. We're going to give you tips about different plants all along the way, so that your garden, your backyard garden, this should be the year of a backyard garden. We'll all be kind of sequestered at home, so it'll be a good time to kind of put in a little sanctuary, a little paradise, a little place where you can grow food for yourself. And I think those who are kind of survivalists among us are thinking right down that path. I'm going to grow some food for myself in my backyard. And it's not that hard to do, as long as you do your research on the internet, and get your books, and do your magazines, reading, to study each plant and the plant needs. Now, today though, I've got a specimen from my past, a item that has significant meaning for me and my family, and it is a siphon pump. And here it is right here. And in my youth in Alabama, I took pride in my ability when my grandma would ask me to go out and get some water. I took pride in being able to use that siphon pump. They taught me how to use it. So I take that, if it was out of prime, I take that coffee can full of water. We always kept a coffee can full of water, pour it down in there, and then when you're bringing the water up, there's a special kind of slow, kind of short pumps at first, and then when you feel the water being sucked up, then you change to a more of a lengthy cadence to bring it on up. And I took great pride in my ability to use the siphon pump. Something really simple, but for a child, it was a big deal to be able to get water for the family and to use this siphon pump that sat in Mama Cook's front yard, sat in her front yard, and I'd go out there and work it. And I thought, man, being from Fort Wayne, being the city, I turned myself into a country boy, because I learned the ways of the country. And it's nothing like learning the ways of the country. I just thoroughly enjoy it. That's why I grow those purple hull peas. In Fort Wayne here, they call me the pea man, the purple hull pea man, and then they also call me the collard greens man. But this year, we'll grow more peas than anyone in the Midwest, probably. Yeah, we'll have acres of them. So that's my garden tip for today. Keep your plants growing